I usually find discussions of misandry to be a waste of time compared to discussions about misogyny. Since women don't really hold enough institutional power for the more fringe radfem ideologies to have an impact on men's lives and their rights. However, we have seen a recent massive spike in radfems spouting racist, homophobic, and more commonly transphobic ideology, motivated primarily by their hatred of men. I think my video on MAGA tradwives that I released the other day really goes to show that we need to make a strong distinction between the feminine and the feminist, because it's not the same thing. I just realized I'd forgotten to stop the music for that. Darn. Anyway, so I've got a video here by a YouTuber named Misha Petrov called Why Anti-Men Content is on the Rise. If you're not willing to call out toxic radfem behavior or femcel behavior, then the right will. And boy, will they get a lot of influence from doing so that we won't be getting. And I think it's better if the left gets that influence instead. So, touching on that, let's take a look at this video. I was recommended to cover it, and it seems pretty good. So let's hop right in.
We have a male problem. We mean, be rude, boycott men.
I don't congratulate men for anything.
How I've cut men out of my life completely.
Cheating on men does not exist.
Women deserve revenge.
Imagine if I sat here and told you that all women are manipulative, emotionally.
Now, my guess would be that some of these posts have to be rage bait, trying to like bait men into getting angry and then like spamming the comments, getting mad and boosting the engagement. That's definitely part of it. But there's a reason why these posts also get circulated by other women very commonly. So let's talk about it. We often talk about like why men become incels. What are the social pressures that are radicalizing young men into becoming woman-hating incels? In this video, we're going to be doing that, but for the femcels. What are the social and uniquely to women's experience, the structural pressures that have driven them to become femcels? Now, for those that are unaware, the femcel movement, it's not just about hating men. Especially recently, their man hate has grown to include a bit of racism. They also are not fond of gay men, and they are very much not fond of trans women. And they don't have too much nice to say about trans men either. So, it's a problem.
Irrational, incapable of accountability, useless, and all men should avoid interacting with them entirely. Most people would instantly recognize that as bitter, as sexist. So why is it that the female version of that suddenly becomes empowerment and gets praise? Let's try to figure that out today.
Leave men out. My nail tech is a woman. My doctor is a woman. My OB is a woman.
My father is a woman.
My barista is a woman. The girl that tints my cars is a
I don't want to be that guy, but she doesn't have a good father figure in her life. Like, none of the girls who post stuff like this have had a good, like, father figure or uncle or brother in their life. Every man in their life has probably been a grade A piece of shit or not there. Because if there was a single man in their life that was a good person, they would feel bad saying these things. The fact is, there's been almost certainly no men in their life who haven't let them down. And that's why they feel no guilt about saying this, because there's not like a dad or an uncle or a grandpa or a brother who was always there for them, who always did the right thing, who was always supportive of them, who never did some scummy, skeevy shit or showed their ass in some way. That never happened for them. So they really don't have any conception of a man who's not just a monstrous piece of shit.
woman. The person I buy my cars from is a woman. You get the point. I do business with women. And if there is a man, I ask for a woman. Leave them out of the conversation, leave them out
Of the women's restroom?
out of the business deal, boycott men. Because if it isn't clear, the reason America looks like what America looks like right now is because of men. We have a male problem. Be mean, be rude, carry pepper spray, a taser if you can, a bang if you can. Carry all of it because they don't understand the word no. The reason they are so scared of a matriarchy is because of what they did to us with the patriarchy.
That
A key thing to point out as well is that these radfems are not feminists. They are not, their goal is, technically you could argue they are feminists because they do want to destroy the patriarchy, but they do explicitly want to replace it with a matriarchy. They believe that women should have unanimous power and that men should be second-class citizens to women. They don't believe in equality. They just believe in flipping the table.
assumes that women are inherently morally superior rulers, but history does not support the idea that any group becomes virtuous once given power, okay? All humans are capable of cruelty regardless of gender. So I see.
Never forget Olga of Kiev. Never forget Olga of Kiev.
Seriously doubt it would be some kind of utopia.
They may play dumb, but they know exactly what they did to us. Uno reverse men, dog them out, be rude. I cannot stress this enough. Women deserve revenge. Cut them out of the conversation, cut them out of everything. Decenter them. Them.
That's an
What do I
awesome
know?
cat.
Not much, apparently, except how to press record and probably eat a lot. But I'm curious, would you
Jeez.
say
Dog. Oh my god. I mean, you're not wrong, but you didn't have to say it. I mean, good lord. I don't know if this YouTuber is, like, right-wing. I looked at her channel. It doesn't look like she is. She just kind of seems, like, normal, I guess. Politically normal. Probably not, like, super woke.
say this to a black man? Would you say this to a black gay disabled man? Because usually with these people, this only applies to a certain kind of man. Imagine if this rant was about someone refusing to work with a certain race or a certain religion or ethnicity because they blame them for society's problems and now they want revenge. I think most people
That's literally every racist. Every ist and every bigoted type of person, even when it's not protected classes, even when it's like, how many of you guys have noticed the amount of like I hate weed smokers type posts lately? And it's always like ContraPoints, for example, is a good example of this, where it's like you can tell when ContraPoints complains about weed smokers, it's like she's complaining about the specific weed smokers she's known in her life and is applying that standard to everybody who smokes weed and defends the practice, right? And a lot of people are like this, right? Whether it be in regards to certain groups that are protected classes or people that are into a certain piece of media or into a certain hobby, we stereotype them. And if we aren't, if it's the kind of thing that doesn't interest us or we don't understand, we tend to associate as negative of stereotypes as we can rationalize against that group. And you know, there's tons of examples you can probably think of where it's just, you know, fandom of a popular piece of media, but boy, do racists do the exact same thing. It's the foundation of their ideology in many ways. Modern racists primarily base their entire worldview on anecdotal examples that they have extrapolated to apply to entire groups, an entire race, an entire gender, an entire sexuality.
would instantly recognize that as irrational. They would get offended. She is so obsessed with hating men. She centers men so heavily that she has made misandry her entire identity. Okay, and that is sad. There is a difference between being cautious, recognizing potential danger, being smart, versus walking through life viewing half the population as evil by default. Okay, there is a difference, and you will just be paranoid.
I mean, I won't really complain about that, to be honest. I mean, if you're a woman, you probably should just assume every guy that's, like, out in public is a potential rapist and keep yourself safe, I guess. Like, I'm not really gonna fault anyone for that, you know? Because you don't know. You don't know. But, as far as, like, actual engagement, actual rhetoric, and your ideology, if you actually believe that more, I don't know, half or more of men, or all men, or whatever, are monsters or predators or whatever, then you don't even believe that to protect yourself. Like that's just an idea you want to promote.
Isolated and unhappy if you choose the latter. Also, we deserve revenge. Women deserve revenge. Revenge for what, specifically? Against which men, specifically? Your teenage cashier that you refuse to speak to? A random Uber driver? Her male dentist? The did they do? Having basic decency nowadays is enough to get you called a pick-me, and it's getting more and more ridiculous. You don't want to kill half the population, you're a pick-me. You recognize there are evil men and there are good men, pick-me.
Dude, there are pick-me dudes, though. Oh, man. If you've ever seen, like, the pick-me type guy, they give off such covert predator energy when you've seen the pattern enough of how often they end up being predators. It's, I think she shows a clip in this video.
But you're not doing women a favor by assuming every woman is this cute angel and she could do no wrong. Bitch.
Right.
And unfortunately, she is not the only one who has this worldview. I am a true misandrist. I refuse to uplift men more than their privilege already does. I consciously choose to solely support women in my daily life.
Since there are a lot of women, including lesbians, who are scared to be true misandrists.
Because I'm a lesbian, I have to be a misandrist. So we're off to a fantastic...
Oh, okay. Okay, so, alright, guys. Giga truth nuke here. Any lesbians in chat want to back me up? Alright, I'm gonna hit you guys with the Giga truth nuke, okay? Half of the lesbian population seems to be, like, really hardcore, like, man-hating, like, maybe not half, but, like, a significant amount, like, rad femme types that hate men and want nothing to do with them, while the other half of the lesbian population is constantly on dates with and in relationships with those women, and oftentimes they are not all that great, and they are oftentimes complaining about how those relationships, how those dates go, and in many ways relate to the complaints of some men in regards to that, because they've gone through, and I feel like she's probably coming from that direction of like, oh yeah, this whole like political lesbianism, like it's all about hating men thing is just cringe, and she's probably met plenty of women like that and just had to cringe through some dates. I've heard stories. But there are two types of lesbians: the kind that get along with straight dudes, and the kinds that hate dudes. Those are the two kinds. There's no in between.
Fantastic start.
I'm gonna start telling y'all misandrist things that I do. If a man tells me something that he's doing that I think is actually something that is kind of cool, I like to look up and see if there's a woman who's already doing it and support her instead. If a man has an idea that I actually think is a good idea, I go ahead and make sure that a woman hasn't already had that idea, and I go ahead and support a woman who is already doing whatever that man is doing. Because if a man has an idea, there's a woman who's already done it. If a man created an organization, there's a woman who's already been doing that for 20 years. If a man has a come to Jesus moment.
Sapphic here. I often find myself longing for platonic male friends, but it doesn't happen easily. Giga Truth Nuke here. One of the most, like, healthy roommate dynamics I ever knew was a straight guy who was, like, a massive player, always bringing a girl home, like, every other night at least, and, his lesbian roommate. Lesbian roommate was not exactly, like, too upset about it because this guy was only ever bringing home women, right? If she had felt like a girl who was a roommate, and let's say she was bringing home boyfriends or dates or whatever, strange guys, it would be a lot more discomforting. But for her, it's just the girlfriends of her roommate. So it's like a lot more safe. And obviously she's known him a long time and knows he's chill and he's never like made a move on her. And he's on Tinder, you know, he's out on Tinder finding some other girl to get with and take home. He's not interested in her. So it was a very, very nice dynamic for them. And that's kind of when I had my eyes open to the lesbian and straight guy best friend duo dynamic, how well it can work.
Or an epiphany. There's millions of women who have already come to that conclusion themselves. I don't congratulate men for anything.
I'm supposed to agree with her because I'm a lesbian, right? Just because I am not attracted to men, I have to automatically resent or despise them all. I'm always curious about the lesbian.
It's the it's the incel mindset, right? Because if you're not attracted to a woman, if you're like an incel or misogynistic man, then she has no value. It's the same mindset. Like if you cannot derive, in the case of men, there's also the financial value. Like obviously a lot of these femcels will be like, okay, well at least a man can still pay for everything, even if he's not, like, if I don't find him attractive. But as far as like, if he's not attractive, then yeah, I mean, it's just... Yeah, like they literally don't consider it's the same mindset as incels. Like the incels consider any woman they don't want to have sex with non-existent. They ignore them or they hate them. It's weird how much their ideologies are mirrored, but it's also not weird. It's exactly what you should expect.
And even the straight women who hold this belief, you don't have a single man in your life who has helped you view men as human beings.
Yeah,
really.
There you go.
Not a father. Not a brother,
yep.
Not a friend. There's no man that you have encountered in your life that you can respect, that you care for. It doesn't have to be romantic or sexual. You do know that, right?
There's not a success that a man can gain that I will celebrate over a woman's success.
That's a big tube of CeraVe. Holy shit.
Better and I'm going to find out who she is, and I'm going to congratulate her instead.
This is such an unfortunate stereotype, and it's because of lesbians like this. And if you think about it for more than 5 seconds, the whole thing is ridiculous. Straight men, for example, they are not attracted to other men, yet most of them still manage to love their fathers, their brothers, their friends, their mentors, co-workers, sons, or at least not hate half the population. So regardless, by the way, of your trauma that you may have endured,
Yeah, it's true, the hate for men is getting crazier. Yes and no. Like, that's the problem, is it's like both sides have a point, right? Like, here, let me see. Political division by year between men and women, Gen Z. Yeah, it's fucking insane, dude. Holy shit. So here's the image associated to visualize it, but I'll also read the results. Gen Z exhibits the widest political gender gap of any living generation, with young women leaning heavily liberal and democratic, while young men have trended increasingly, not heavily, but increasingly conservative and Republican. This divide, which did not exist to the same degree in previous generations, has been driven by young women moving sharply to the left, while young men have either shifted right or remained constant. And so we've got the data here, and this has continued to hold for years now. For 2 or 3 years, this data has been holding with a very sharp skew. And so men are getting more misogynistic. They are going down the incel pipeline, but the fact is the fringe of men who are going like hard right incel and the fringe of women who are going hard femcel is not even close. It's not even close. Way more women are going femcel than men are going incel. And what's scary about this is that the women who are going femcel are the ones we're seeing in these TikToks. They're the ones that we're seeing, like, trash-talking men in these TikToks, and you better believe all these young men and generations to come of young men are going to be inundated with that kind of rhetoric from the time they're, like, 8. From, like, before they're even, like, from the point of prepubescence, they're going to be hearing this shit. I know I was. And, yeah, it definitely has an effect on you. When you grow up thinking that women hate you for being a man, or for being a boy, because when you're literally just a boy, when you think that women hate you, it's like, ooh, I got this shit from my mom. Me too. Yeah, I heard a lot of like the men are kind of trash stuff growing up too, and it definitely pushed me towards the anti-feminist stuff because I wanted to hear something that wasn't when I was a teenager, I wanted to hear something that wasn't like me being put down for being male. And the people who were willing to lift me up for being male were not the kind of people I should have been listening to. But if you put someone down, they're going to look for something that lifts them up. And right now, the people who are being put down are young men, and the people who are willing to lift them up, just like back then, are the far right, the incels, the MGTOWs, the Andrew Tates, the Sneakos, the Claviculars.
I do think probably a majority of these women, unfortunately, were abused by men. Even then, it's important to recognize that there are good men and there are evil men. There are good women and there are evil women. Do you see gay men, at least in these numbers, right, going online talking about how much they...
In regards to the evil women thing, see the MAGA trad wife segment I did the other day about the TPUSA event with all the MAGA trad wives that are there, like saying, I would vote to lose the right to vote. Yeah, that's a good example.
Hate all women because they're not attracted to them. No, straight, gay, whatever. But we have men that we respect. Recognizing that does not erase your trauma or mean you have to trust men in general. Because again, there are good men, there are bad men, same with women. But generalizing a gender like this is illogical.
This is how I've cut men out of my life completely and how you can as well. I'm right now at 7B status. So there is 4B, which is no sex with men, no marriage,
You're
no
welcome,
babies.
chat.
I already do that. 7B is...
Chat, you're welcome.
The most extreme level of not having to interact with men at all. So the first thing is I'm very mindful about the media that I consume. I don't read love stories, dating rants. It's just not applicable to me because, when you're consuming somebody's story, then you take on their energy and you take on their frustration, and then it becomes your problem as well, especially if you're...
God, the energy shit. My most misogynistic opinion, unironically, just straight up, like, I believe this opinion is misogynistic, is that, like, women believe in magic. And the problem is that's backed up with data. Like, men do too. Religion is magic. But, like, religion saw a massive decrease in all of Gen Z. And then, obviously, she's not Gen Z, but still. Religion saw a massive drop-off among Gen Zers. But, like, women are just as spiritual as previous generations. They've just replaced religion with, like, magic. Like, astrology or witchcraft type stuff. And it's like, if you're just into witchy aesthetics, that's cool. I like the crystals and, like, the symbols of, like, demonology and stuff as, like, an aesthetic, like, goth aesthetic kind of stuff. Or if you're, like, into the witchcraft aesthetic, I love that stuff. I think it's cool. But then you meet somebody, always a woman, who thinks it's real. And, like, bases their ideology off of the energies they get off of people. And it's like, oh my god. That's... I guess it's not any more of a problem than people who base their rhetoric off of religion, but it's just, like, it's sad to see, like, because at first I was like, yo, Gen Z is abandoning religion. We're logical. We use reason. And then it's immediately, like, replaced with this, like, new age spiritualism. It's like, oh, okay, never mind. We're just as fucked. And here I thought we were on a good path.
Quite an empathetic person, and you're very sympathetic.
Imagine one of her friends goes up to her and she's like, this is what's happening with my relationship. I'm really upset. She's like, shut up. I do not want this energy in my life. Like, this is so selfish. You don't have to date, but you should be a normal person.
So instead, I read...
She probably is like that. She probably does have friends come to her to try to talk about the stuff they're going through, and she probably does cut them off and say, sorry, the energy is too negative. I can't, like, yeah. She probably is like that.
Educational content, true crime to keep me aware.
99% of the time.
Not the true crime. Not the oh my god, she hit us with the triple whammy. Oh my god.
True crime girls. Are there some normal ones out there? The true crime fans? I'm sure there are. I have yet to meet one. You just said, I don't want bad energy in my life. You're watching true crime? Oh, and then he kidnapped her and he mutilated her. And is that good energy? Is that cute to you? Is that better than a rom-com?
I mean, it's fear porn though. It's the same shit that, like, in the 90s they really realized was like the best retention algorithm they could possibly make for news is nonstop wall-to-wall 24/7 coverage of tragedies. It's the same thing, right? It's fear porn. There's actually one of my favorite episodes of South Park is about this. The episode is called Informative Murder Porn. And in the episode, all the parents in South Park are watching true crime documentaries together. And it's like their pornography, kind of. Like, they're using it to get turned on and then they have sex. And it ends up motivating them in the same way that, like, the debate or argument happens that, like, violent video games cause violence in kids. It causes them to want to murder their spouses, like in the true crime documentaries they're watching. And so all the kids in South Park get together and they put parental locks on the TVs so the parents can't watch informative murder porn anymore. And they all agree to one password to unlock the parental lock. And the password question is, how do you tame a horse in Minecraft? None of the adults know how to tame a horse in Minecraft. Hilarity ensues.
Let's say.
I love poetry about self-love and healing and anything to do with enhancing my hobbies and bringing me closer to any goals that I have, any skills that I want to learn. It just makes me really excited about life because none of that has anything to do with a man, and it's very fulfilling.
Yeah, true crime usually has something to...
This is just women going their own way, by the way. Like the MGTOW movement, where it was like, you know what? We don't need women. We're going our own way. It's like, bro, you never had women, okay? Let's be real here, okay? How are you gonna go your own way? How are you gonna abandon women when women never had... You never had women. Women never had you, all right? Like, who are you abandoning, okay? Like, you ousted yourself. Now you're just announcing it, okay? Like, bro, stop tricking your viewers. It's pre-recorded AI. You got me, bro. Epically owned.
To do with men. It's very rarely about two women or even about the woman committing the crime. It's usually the guy committing the crime, girl. You should know that.
Second thing I do is if I'm ever in a situation where I have to choose between talking to a man or a woman, I will always defer to the woman. The man does not even exist. I completely ignore his presence, and most of the time they do get it. So like when I'm checking into hotels, at airports, things like this. And you know what? Even if he's hurt, let his ego be wounded.
You're not there to be a normal human being. right? To say hi to both people.
You're not there to defer to him or to acquiesce to any of his little fantasies that he might have about you.
Okay, wait. So now you're worried about the fantasies they...
She's projecting a lot of her own personal experiences really hard right now. Like, you can tell she's been through some things, and she's talking about very specific people, very specific men, I should say, and very specific behaviors that they engaged in.
may have about you. Girl, good luck in life. Oh my god, if we would worry about that, no one would ever be happy. Maybe that's why they're not happy. Here's what you have to understand. You cannot control what other people are fantasizing about or what they think about you or, their opinion. None of that.
Except women fundamentally aren't going their own way. Women are the largest consumers of social safety nets and public programs. They literally cannot exist without outsourcing utility, labor, and finance to men. That's just a constructed system by the patriarchy, though, right? Like, we're not talking like these aren't feminists, though. Like the women going their own way thing, they're not feminists. They're not fighting against the patriarchy that constructed these systems that are inherently unfair. It's the femcels and the incels that femcels are the ones who, ironically, a lot of them, like, what their goal here, like, a lot of them are all like, I don't need a man. But they do want to have a man once it's time to, like, get towards retirement age, right? Like, none of them want to be working, right? They've no doubt got, like, guys that they're with, right? So a lot of these femcel types absolutely want to uphold the patriarchy because the patriarchy designates, like, women stay at home, be stay-at-home wife, make no money, work no job. And a lot of these women don't want to work a job. Like, a lot of them are fine to bolster the patriarchy in the sense of its toxic expectations. They just want to reform it into a matriarchy. They're not feminists, though. The women that we're talking about here. It's not what feminism is.
That is in your control, and that is none of your business. You're not intimate with that guy, the cashier, whoever's checking you into the hotel. You want to control what he's thinking about. Like, I'm so sorry. You need to get over.
Yes, it is a fundamentally patriarchal system, but it's still the air they breathe. I mean, not every one of the... Once again, I'm making fun of the femcels that are saying they're going their own way, like the men going their own way thing. But, like, I'm sure plenty of them are not using any social safety nets. I just don't think that's the best gotcha against them. Like, I see where you're coming from with that, Let's Draw, but, like, I just don't, like, I don't think that works in enough scenarios with these types that it's really that strong of a gotcha against them. I would more so say that, like, the fact that they are demonstrating a bigotry in replicating the same behavior of the incels, like, I just think we need to make it as socially cringe to be a femcel as it is to be an incel. It's not right now, but we need to make it so.
Over that. But also to pretend that women never have bad thoughts about men or about other women. It's not true. These people are...
Well, what a perfect segue. Speaking of femcels, the majority of femcels are not women who are upset they can't get with men. They are lesbian women who don't have the best time in the dating world. I'm gonna be real. There are a lot of lesbian women who are literal femcels. Like, they are unable to get a date, and it makes them angry. Maybe they live in a really rural or conservative area, so there are no like gay community meetup areas for them to meet anyone else who's even also gay. Oh.
The perpetrators in the true crime being men probably doesn't help her mental state.
Oh yeah, like I said, it's fear porn. It's like meant to feed into the ideology. Thank you, Black Phoenix. I appreciate it. But yeah, as I was saying though, oh goddamn, I got cut off, and I totally forgot where I was going with that. Yes, okay. Yeah, like most femcels are not like straight women who are unable to get a boyfriend. Like incels are straight men unable to get a girlfriend. Most of them are lesbian women not able to get a girlfriend, which is ironic. Like any celdom type ideology just comes from not being able to get a girlfriend. No matter if you're a man or a woman, if you can't get a girlfriend, you end up becoming a toxic piece of shit. I don't know why. It just gets you eventually.
Are delusional and naive when it comes to the way that they view women. Pretty sure most of these women are probably hurt by men. That does not give you an excuse to treat every man like trash. I want to make sure that his ego is hurt. I want him to notice that. And who's to say he's thinking about you in some highly inappropriate way? If he's, for example, just trying to check you in. Like, it's this assumption. And even if that's the case, again, Not saying that's great, it's not. But girl, who the cares? You cannot go through life caring this much.
Zan, I don't like the way most lesbians talk shit about bisexual women. Oh yeah, I've dated multiple bisexual women in my life, and yeah. You go to like a lesbian bar, and you reveal that you're bi, and they're like, you've had sex with men. You pick a side.
About other people's opinions and what they're thinking about privately in their head. Also, denying yourself love if you actually do want a man, right? But because of your movement, you're like, no. I will not date. I will not watch anything involving men, except true crime, of course, where they kill women. Great. And in fact, I will ignore their presence. That brings me pleasure, to know that their ego was hurt.
You just directly deal with the woman, have a stress-free
There's actually another, like, flip of coins here, actually. Within the Femcel movement, you know for a fact there's, like, the ones that are obsessed with true crime, because it's just stories about, like, men murdering their wives. But then you've got the ones who think true crime consumption is problematic and misogynistic, because it's stories about men murdering their wives. You know that divide exists.
On my lazy friends who can't get any matches on dating apps have told me they switched to interested in men for an ego boost.
Oh my god, that's so big brain. Holy shit. Wait, do you mean, so if you're a straight guy, you could just switch to interested in men and you just get the ego boost of just nonstop matches with dudes who are trying to get that pussy. Fuck, that's the cure to male loneliness. Shit. Thank you for the $5, Series of Stars. I appreciate it. True.
experience, because otherwise, you know, with the man, maybe he's going to be a little bit condescending to you, or he probably won't take your concerns very seriously. So just cut out all of the toxicity.
Women are never toxic, girl. You're so right.
Go straight to the woman, only deal with the woman. The third thing I do is when I'm walking on the street, I'm aware of men, but I don't acknowledge or make eye contact with them. I look right through them, and this...
No, that's not how you signal you're not an easy target. No, you like that demonstrates that you are nervous and uncomfortable, which is the last signal you want to give off. Like when you're walking through, like, let's say you're walking through like a group of like homeless dudes, right? You know, I live in California. It happens sometimes. Most days it's chill. Some days it's a little less chill. And, you know, if someone starts to just act a little weird, maybe they're looking at you and you know they're looking at you, do you know what you do in response? Look them directly in the eye and make it obvious you're looking at them. Make exaggerated turns and demonstrate you're not in La La Land and you are very aware of your environment and not an easy target. Like, you don't need to actually be tough, but if you just front that you're not in La La Land and that you're like absolutely willing to lock eyes with someone you know is watching you and you don't look scared or nervous, that does it. That works. That's it. That's all you need. Like 99.9% of the time, if you are going to be victimized, that saves you. Like I think they've literally done studies. Like they've interviewed serial killers and had them all unanimously explain that they specifically search for people who have things like both earbuds in, who are looking down at their feet and don't look around often, who are nervous when they spot you looking at them, they're nervous and they look away. Like, you ever do that? Like, someone catches your eye and you look away nervously. Whenever like serial killers would see someone like that, that was a target. They were too nervous to defend themselves, too nervous to advocate for themselves, too nervous to defend themselves, or to even look like they know something's off. Immediate, easy target. Do not do this. What she's describing does not make you safer from predatory men. Glare. Don't look through. Don't ignore. Glare at them if they're looking at you weird.
Has really helped me just in terms of just remaining in a good mood, focus, because if I'm looking at a guy looking at me or just being a weirdo, then I'll get stressed and I'll get anxious. Like I said, always be really aware, but don't allow their negativity to permeate into your being, because you will carry that with you for the rest of the day.
You seem very...
Like, I actually feel like that was borderline irresponsible. Like, I don't even feel like most rad femmes would agree with that advice of don't look at these creepy men that are staring at you because their energy is going to infect you. No, you need to look out for your safety. You're being eyed at by a fucking predator in that scenario, if that's what's actually happening, and you need to be locked the fuck in and ready to go. Like, that is not the kind of situation where it's time to get like epic own on men TikTok likes, okay? You're a potential victim if a man is staring you down, and you need to signal that you know you're looking... Hold on. I'm gonna sound like I'm talking out of my ass. Here we go. Infamous serial killers such as Samuel Little and Richard Cottingham frequently targeted individuals they viewed as easy victims to avoid resistance and evade immediate detection. They often scouted for vulnerable populations and targets of opportunity who would not be quickly missed. So obviously they would target the vulnerable, the marginalized, teenagers, runaways, hitchhikers, and drifters. But there was specifically... Oh, fuck, hold on. This is the question I should be asking because this is going to bring up this specific point. What behaviors make you an easy target for serial killers? Serial killers primarily select targets based on vulnerability, accessibility, and desirability. Behaviors that make someone an easier target for predators include lacking situational awareness, such as being distracted by a phone, having an isolated lifestyle, and projecting physical or psychological signs of timidity. This means basically that if they, like I said before, you ever like catch someone's eye in public or like someone's looking around the room and then you're looking around the room and then your eyes catch and you look away because you don't want to be awkward? That's a sign of a timid personality. And predators spot that like a shark spots blood in the water. Isolation, distraction and reduced awareness. Looking down or being absorbed in an electronic device limits your ability to notice lurking threats or changing surroundings. Isolation and routine. Regularly walking the same route, spending evenings alone, or lingering in high-risk areas allows predators to easily track and study you. Projecting vulnerability. Criminological experts note that traits like slouching, appearing unconfident, or lacking clear personal boundaries can act as an unconscious, gestural hinting that draws the attention of opportunistic criminals. When I say you don't need to be Billy Badass, walk with your shoulders back and your head up straight, look around every once in a while, and if someone's looking at you weird, look at them back. 99% of the time, if you are about to get turned into a statistic, you just saved yourself without having to break a sweat. This is literally me at 14, all of it. Man, I will not dig too deep into that. Anyway. Sorry, I got a little sidetracked on this, but that particular line, that just set something off in me. That line about, like, creepy men staring at you, like, just look through them and not at them. Oh my god, that just, like, everything I know about not being victimized just screamed. Alarm bells went off, and it was like, she is giving women bad advice on being safe for, like, late epic brownie points on TikTok. It's just, ugh. Anyway, very good video so far from what I've seen from Misha Petrov. There'll be a link to the original down below in the description. Obviously we did not watch anywhere near all of it, so there's much more to watch on your end if you want to go drop a like and a comment and a sub on her channel, which I highly recommend. She seems like she's one of the more up-and-coming progressive channels, which is pretty nice. And I like that she is giving some lip service to this discussion. Anyway, folks, if you enjoyed this video, consider leaving a like and a comment here as well. Subscribe and ring the bell icon. Turn on all notifications if you want to see more from me. Follow my socials linked down below, and hopefully I'll see you around again very soon.